looking down on us. They fought for this, and this moment is dedicated to them. Do what's right. Adopt the large area rezoning. Protect our air, our water, and our future. Thank you.
Jesus Medeles, followed by Ray Rashad.
William Mitchell, Ana Medeles, and Ray Rashad is going to yield their time to me.
Okay, 1 second. Yep, Ray Rashad. The second name, sir? Ray Rashad and...
Yeah, so it's William Mitchell, Ana
William
Medeles,
Mitchell.
and Ray Rashad. I might not need all that time, but just in case.
Your maximum is only 2 that can
Okay.
yield to you. So we'll go with Ray Rashad and Willie Mitchell, you said? Okay, you have 9 minutes, sir.
Hi, Gene Ortiz, our mayor. Thank you for your service, and thank you for fighting for our freedom. Jalen, thank you for listening to the outcry of the community. Thank you for seeing with your own eyes what this community has gone through. I am for the rezoning of 7 and 8 for these reasons. So I am Jesse Medeles, the grandson of the great migrant leader Manuel Medeles. Moya, and it was Cesar Chavez, all of them. Cesar Chavez of California, my grandpa of South Texas. Moya put all that together. I am also a very respected Latin artist. There's been a lot of documentaries done about me and all that stuff. I've been a very respected also influencer and somebody that brings justice to communities that are extremely corrupt. I personally was filming a TV show in California, so I wasn't here for a lot of the years. Now I moved back to this community, and I am shocked that I've traveled the world to seek justice, and now I'm having to fight for justice. 50 years of injustice, 50 years of racism, 50 years of failed leadership, 50 years fighting for basic human rights, 50 years of being ignored and forgotten, 50 years of discrimination. Today we say no more. When all we have asked for is basic human rights, clean air, clean water, safe environment, not to be surrounded by deadly toxins. This is a beautiful black-built community, now extremely eclectic with all different cultures. We are here today to fight for justice. We are here to fight for our basic human rights. The history of this neighborhood was developed in the late 50s, early 60s. Historically, racial restrictive covenants in property deeds and systematic red lines were used to enforce segregation in San Antonio. Example, I'm going to take you on a history class of the neighborhood. The East Side, back in the days of racism, was where the blacks were going to be put there because of racism. Still till this day, in 1003 Greek, still says, said property shall never be sold or leased to Negroes or Mexicans. Still there. Today we need to break this wall. Why was the basic human rights created? Well, let me help you guys. Government obligations recognize clean air and clean water as basic human rights, creates legal enforceable and obligations for government respected officials to fulfill their duty. When the outcry of the community comes to them, it is their duty and their job lawfully to make the change. Environmental justice. It provides a powerful tool for environmental justice, advocates to hold government and corporations accountable for environmental harm, ensuring that the benefits of healthy environments are not just based on the color of your skin, that we could all have our basic human rights, clean air, clean water, and a safe place to live. Here. I want you to imagine what this community has endured, and I want you to imagine what they're still enduring. In front of you, you're going to see shit. I am sorry, that's what it is. In front of, not even 200 feet away from a house. The smell so bad. I want y'all guys to imagine this. Your turkey dinner. I want y'all to imagine a pile of shit right next to y'all, but y'all want your family to eat. I want y'all to add to that. Please put this. I want y'all to now add the Sahara Desert, literally. Dust in your AC systems. Let's add the shit to the dust, all coming with the fan. All this is up there. Even some businesses like the Camp Koa has this online, trying to fight for that. I'm going to add something else to that dinner that we're having right now. Let's add the gas. This amazing guy, I'm not going to expose him, but he allowed me to take this picture, is closing down a leak of gas right in the front yards of Mama D. 50 years have they've been fighting. These are not basic human rights. This is corruption and this is racism. Let me add to this too. Now they want to leave because it smells so bad. But you can't because you're stuck in traffic for an hour because the truck is stuck in the backyard of people. Now, poor Mama D, a lot of the older community out there picking up trash from some bad neighbors, partying out there in front of our house. This is now illegal. It's illegal in San Antonio. You're not supposed to have a resident with no buffer zone. Heavy industrial cannot be next to an elementary. Why is this black-built community, why is it okay here? There's an elementary. There's a nursing home. 50 years of fighting injustice. This is not okay. Now, let me tell you some amazing and positive stuff. Thank you to the rodeo. Thank you to our great neighbors that choose to stay involved. Here's another one. Thank you to the officers. Thank you to the commissioners. Our commissioner. Here's another one, I'm sorry. For being involved. We are pro-businesses, but we are not for pro-shit and dust in our houses. I ask for an apology for the disrespect, but guys, this is what we're dealing with. This is inhumane. This is not okay. Thank you to our veterans. Thank you to our officers. Thank you to the Pletz Park. Oh, yeah, let me see. Yeah, thank you to Pletz Park. And I'm going to bring up something, too, that's very, very crazy. Here, put on this. Okay, do y'all know the history of the Alamo Dome? Have y'all studied the redlining map of San Antonio? Why was the East Side created? We're on there. Have y'all studied that, or do y'all know about that history? About East Sides were for blacks, West Side were for Mexicans. Alamo Heights was for different communities, Caucasian, things like that. We need to fix this. Today we need to break this wall down and this discrimination down. That, what you see right there, are hills of the dirt from the Alamo Dome. Do y'all know the history of the Alamo Dome? That dirt was contaminated. The whole community of the East Side in front of the Alamo Dome, including Cliff Cedeño's grandpa that died from lung disease, which we have some people in our community right now battling lung disease. That's the chemicals that's going through our air right now. Is that okay? That's a flood zone. That should have never happened. Today is your chance to make a change. Today is a chance to stand for what's right. I agree with what Cliff Cedeño said. You guys are here to fight for our basic human rights. You guys are selected officials. Please do not allow these businesses to corrupt and lie to your minds. They had the chance just like we do. Again, thank you guys for your time. I am Jesse Mireles.
Veronica Sants, followed by Beatrice Anderson. Okay. Is that Beatrice Anderson that's yielding their time? Is that right? Sorry?
Mrs. Mitchell.
Okay, Beatrice Anderson and
Yes,
Ms. Mitchell.
and
Okay.
Sherilyn Mitchell.
All right, great.
My name is Veronica Sanse. Some people, most people do pronounce it like you did, Sans, but the correct pronunciation is Sanse.
Thank you.
Yes. I would like to say good afternoon to Mayor, Councilman, my councilman in District 2, and the rest of the council board on here today. I am asking I'm not going to go through this whole history lesson again because you've heard it, but I do have some history to share with you. I am the daughter of a 92-year-old retired SAPD police officer that has lived in Meadowview North for over 50 years. I am one of the kids that grew up in that neighborhood when it was a cornfield, when it was a fishery where we could go get our goldfish for our, hobbies and stuff. The condition of our community and our neighborhood currently, presently, as it stands, is a disgrace to all of the elders that bought those homes, like Mrs. Williams, one of the first homeowners in that community in 1961, 62, whenever it was first purchased. My father is a late bloomer. He came in the early 70s, but be that as it may, we are all entitled to good, clean, quality air, water, soil in the neighborhood, in addition to not being subjected to gas trucks that are sometimes full of gas at the lot at 639 Gimler, I believe, and the gas trucks are 50 feet from our residence from the first home. That's unacceptable. It's not right. I used to live in Los Angeles. I am now back here to take care of my dad. And you know what the fires did in Los Angeles this year at the beginning of the year. I am afraid that that same situation can happen less than 200 feet from my father's home, but it's already definitely less than 50 feet from homes in the community of Meadowview North. That's unacceptable, it's unsafe, it's not fair. Human rights are free, and our community is entitled to the same human rights that every single one of you sitting up here have in your communities. Would you have and would you tolerate these heavy industrial trucks and businesses in your community? I think not. It's not happening north of 1604. It's not happening out there in the Dominion. It's not happening. I keep saying Alamo Heights. I like to throw that up in there too, but everyone reminds me that's not part of the city. Well, when I grew up, I thought it was. That's where my grandmother worked, in Alamo Heights. It was the city of San Antonio then, as far as I knew, when she was a domestic worker. The racism that we are continuously subjected to in our community, in this city, African Americans are only 6.5 or 6.9% in this city. We have no rights. Again, formerly from Los Angeles, I know city corruption all too well. And this, you city council people, for you to continuously allow this racism to go on, means to me that you agree. At the rezoning committee, I'm not going to name the name, but if he's here and whoever was there, they know who I'm talking about. It's the same person that has banded together all these other owners that definitely had the opportunity to come to the meetings. But then when they do show up, we hear, oh, I was in Europe on holiday and I didn't know about the meeting. Well, what were we supposed to do? Put the meeting on hold? Because some of the owners were on holiday and they weren't available? They got a notice just like I did. They got a notice just like everybody else did that's sitting in this section. But no, we have to accommodate them. What about us? When are the residents in Willowwood, Meadowview North, Skyline, and Meadowview gonna be accommodated and appeased? I'm sick and tired of you putting a Band-Aid on it and just saying, oh, yeah, we're gonna change it from heavy industrial to light industrial. And now you still don't want to do that. Quality air is a human right. We live in a food desert. We need a quality grocery store in that neighborhood, and not just HEB, because it seems like to me, H-E-B is the only neighborhood in the city. I mean, the only grocery store in the city. Yeah, we have a Trader Joe's. Yeah, you can go to Costco. Yeah, you can go to the commissary if you're military. But that's a whole nother question for a whole nother day. Why is it on one grocery store chain here? We need varieties. The grocery stores that are on the east side, they're horrible too. I have to go all the way to City Base or go to Central Market to get my quality of produce and meats that I'm accustomed to. Not the poor quality or selection of items at the H-E-B on Houston and New Braunfels, let alone W.W. White. No, we need quality foods. If we're in a food desert, we need a grocery store in that neighborhood. We do not need all of this heavy industrial businesses that are killing us. My father has all kind of ailments, and it's probably from the condition of the air quality in our neighborhood, to say the least. What about the Salado Creek, that flood, whatever month it was, several months ago, before that, all those deaths in the hill country? We had water almost up to our back doors on that Pletz Park side. Who's gonna do some investigating and really paying attention to what's going on in that neighborhood? I don't want my neighborhood flooded out like it was over there off of Martin Luther King. Now, enough is enough. We voted you people in office. It is your responsibility to help us, not hurt us. It is your responsibility to assist us in the basic human rights that we're entitled to. You have them. We want them. We don't have them. The redlining that's been going on, it's been going on since the 60s, since I was born. I was born in 1960. My birth certificate has me listed as colored, not Negro, and my mother could not legally vote in 1960. Now, enough is enough. We need to get this together. Everybody's mentality is like that current president's mentality. You're selfish, you're all about yourself, and you're not about your constituents. You need to be for your constituents because we are the ones that have put you in office, and we need your help. We need you guys to approve this light industrial change for the quality of not only my 92-year-old father's life, Mama D and all the rest of the elders that are here that have been in that neighborhood for 50 to 60 plus years, not to mention me. I'm going to be a future inheritor of this property that my father owns. That's why I'm here fighting for it. I know my rights, and I'm fighting for them, and I am asking for you people, I'm not asking for you people, I'm asking for the board, the city council board here, to assist us in what we need. This is the third meeting. We don't need to keep continuing coming to these meetings. Do the right thing. I'm begging of you, do the right thing for all of us that need it and deserve it. Please. Thank you very much for listening.
Greg Obloy, followed by Dolores Williams.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. My name is Greg Obloy. I'm with Crown Enterprises. We own 139 Gembler and 3442 Belgium. I have no comment on the master plan. With regards to the rezoning, months ago at the rezoning meeting, I was in opposition, and working with staff, I've lifted my opposition. And so we're fine with the rezoning as it applies to our property that's moving forward. So we're not terrible folks. We can operate our business, but I do want to express just a little point of frustration for us. We recently just purchased these properties within the last 1, 2, and 3 years. And in real estate, you pay what you can use the property for, which is what it was zoned, right? So it's zoned heavy industrial. We paid that price. We have a major improvement package that we're putting into the site, and I think the neighbors will be happy with what we're going to do to this property in the future. And we have a site plan submitted that's been submitted to the city since the summer. We just found out about this rezoning in the end of July. So speaking as a landowner in the future, more, I know, and I'm sure the city staff and everybody did everything to the letter of the T. That's not what I'm saying, but we purchased these properties at a premium. We have a huge capital improvement project for them. And here we are 3 months later having our property downzoned. Again, we're okay with the downzoning from heavy industrial to, I think it is, down to light industrial. We're good with that. We can continue our operations in that manner. So we support the rezoning as it applies to our property, but just want to express that little frustration on that end. Thank you very much.
Dolores Williams, followed by Anna Maria Aguilar.
To the mayor and the rest of the council people, I am the one they call the Mama D. For 62 years, I've been living on the corner of Belgium Lane, 3435. I've smelt the cabbage, I've did the potties, I've did the gas and the grizzly. Now, these big trucks are coming in. I can't hardly get out of my garage. So enough has been said for the rezoning. Please help us. I'm 92 now, and I want to be living very comfortable at 3435 Belgium Lane. Please consider us for the rezoning.
Anna Maria Aguilar. Okay. Okay, Alonzo, are you coming up to speak now then? Alonzo Jones. Okay. Alonzo Jones. The next speaker will be Colby Gilroy. If you'd please line up, thank you. You have 6 minutes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I come to you today to educate you on a little bit, which you've heard already, about our neighborhood. My parents purchased a home there in 1964. I was born in 1964. We were in Europe. We got there, started living. Give you a little history on my knowledge of the neighborhood. I think to this day I'm still the longest tenured paper boy after 10 years that ever threw papers in the neighborhood. And for working for DOD for 30 years and having 25 of those years to be stationed here at Randolph to operate my duties here, I have seen and I have paid attention, and I live in my neighborhood, the same one I grew up in. So I came back, reared my 2 daughters there, and I have been there in this neighborhood, and I am now the president of the Neighborhood Association. And unfortunately, we have people who have spoke today that have gone against parking lots and things like that being built against or next to residential neighborhoods, but they're okay with these type of industrial things going on in our neighborhood, which speaks some of what you heard earlier, because it has not changed. You ask why, or people ask why do we want to rezone? Because we want to have the same quiet, dust-free, pollution-free neighborhood that all of our owners and everyone strive to have. Why do we want to rezone? For far too long, we have witnessed zoning, in our freehand zoning in our neighborhood. What is freehand zoning? That's what I call freehand. I'm going to tell you what I call freehand zoning. Hazardous businesses that move into the area that do not get permits, and then they come back to the city years later after they have been fined wanting the city to give them permits. But they never had a right to be there in the first place, doing what they were doing. And now people say, well, how did they get there? Why are they there? They're there because we were failed. And now we are trying to do something about it. I believe everyone in here in 2003 was in favor of the East Side development that was supposed to come with the SBC Center, which is right in our neighborhood. There was no talk of industrial development on the East Side. There was no one talking about let's revitalize the industrial around the SBC Center. It was East Side development. We have continued to fight for that, and that's why we are here today, because we have continued to stand up and fight for ourselves, because we were waiting on the Spurs. That didn't happen. We were waiting on the county. That didn't happen. We're waiting on the city. That didn't happen. But now when we stand up on our own to go forward and get what we well deserved, and as these people, Mama D, my parents, and everyone before us have been fighting for, it's now our turn to get it. We have opposition of just common human rights. What is that? I mean, who wants these things in their neighborhood or right next to their home? We definitely don't anymore. Yes, they slid in on us, but not anymore. We are done. We are tired. We're asking for your vote. We're asking for you to rezone this area so we can have the revitalization that was promised by the Spurs, by the city, and by the county, if we have to go ahead and start doing it ourselves, which is what we are doing. So we want to live in dust-free, healthy neighborhoods like everyone else does, and we ask for everyone's vote to change that wrong. We need this wrong rewritten. It has been far too long that we have continually come down here. My parents, people who have gone before us now, they have been down here fighting for common rights. That is on record. You can look that up. And in this city, for the longest, to do the right thing. And now we know it's upon you to do the right thing, and you're not the ones that failed us, but we're asking you to correct it. So we thank you for your time. We thank you for listening to us, and please help us pass this for UHIA. Thank you.
Colby Gilroy, followed by Jack Finger.
Hello, Mrs. Mayor and our honorable councilmen and women. Misty Spears from my own District 9. Great to see you again. My name is Colby Guillory, and I am representing a nonprofit that is operating in the East Side that is studying land use around the Frost Bank Center and what can be done to revitalize the area and bring in the development that has been promised since back in the SBC days. I've been at this project for about a year now, which is how I met the fine people from UHIA. I remember back in February when this agenda item first appeared and was pulled from this same committee. There has been a lot of chicanery going around in the background that has prevented this issue from being resolved, that has led it to be drawn out this far. I believe that the decision to rezone has not been made lightly. When the original I-2 zoning was laid down, it was done with a wide brush that left no room for a gradient of development to emerge. These amendments that have been proposed accurately reflect what is on the ground and will bring the existing businesses into compliance and satisfy the needs of the neighborhood. I think that the team has done a great job and that there's no more time needed to look at this any further. It's already been most of a year, and I think we're all ready to check this one off and get on with the holidays, maybe have some turkey, and enjoy Christmas. So I thank you all for your time and attention, and please help the neighborhood out, and Viva San Antonio.
Jack Finger, followed by Daisy Ramso.
Madam Mayor, other members of our illustrious San Antonio City Council, for the record, my name is Jack M. Finger. Mr. McKee Rodriguez, this is the item that you have initiated some time ago. From what I understand, it's close almost a year in the making. But and normally I would be in agreement with the residents. Yes, I would. But I've learned a number of things since that point that make me start to scratch my head on this one. I don't want to look like I'm trying to support some big bad industries, but quite frankly, I'm looking at the notion of fairness here. You know, I cannot help what happened 65 years ago or so. I'm sorry that the then leaders of the city allowed this very poor, mistaken zoning situation to occur. I'm sorry that they had industries there and then they allowed zoning for residences to become situated right next to them without any buffers. But somebody did. And somebody developed neighborhoods there and people started moving into it.
Order.
The question is, where are the industries supposed to go? They've been established there. I'm sorry that there's this gigantic conflict that has arisen here. At the zoning commission meeting, you had at least 10 people to speak against this thing.
Okay, sir, please let him complete his comments.
Now,
Councilman, please.
I think the real question is, sir, why was this thing started some time ago, but the industries only learned about it just a few months ago? Why weren't they notified properly? Maybe that's why one of the zoning commissioners started calling them, letting them, do you know what's going on here? No, this is really a matter of fairness, sir, and I think, quite frankly, this needs to be continued so that more information gets out there.
Daisy Ramso, followed by Doris Vicks. Okay. Ma'am, I'm sorry, you're Daisy? You're Daisy, okay. And you're yielding to who, ma'am? Hill, okay. Are you speaking now, ma'am? Oh, okay, 1 second. We'll do one at a time. Ms. Hill, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor, District 2 Councilman Jayla Kima Rodriguez, and City Council. My name is Rose Hill. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm the president of Government Hill Alliance Neighborhood Association, and I am the co-founder of the D2 President's Roundtable, a first and one-of-a-kind neighborhood group made up of the finest District 2 presidents you'll find in District 2. Today, on behalf of the District 2 Roundtable, which consists of 30 neighborhood associations in District 2, I am here to ask for you to please vote for these residents here, their homes, their livelihoods, their health. Not too long ago, can you put this pic? Not too long ago, I sympathized with these residents, these seniors, because something similar like that happened in Government Hill. And if we can recall, could you put that picture thing up, please? Can you make it a little bigger? This is what landed up in our neighborhood, Accent Recycling. 2 stories high of cardboard. We had a developer that came in there and didn't want to be a good neighbor. Some businesses are good and some businesses are not. We had rats, infestation, dust, people getting sick, but they got, the most important thing, the sad part about it is they got a permit, and we have to look at that. We have to start looking at these businesses that are coming in and what their true meanings are coming into a community. What do they bring? If they're going to bring a partnership, that's one thing, but if they're going to bring dust, trash, rats, you know, all that kind of things. We have to think about that. I think we need to start thinking about looking at our neighborhood master plans and taking into consideration for the seniors and for the people that have lived in that community for so many years. Also, one of the important things, the heart of that neighborhood is there's an elementary school there. What about them? What about the future of those children? Do we want them to inherit that sickness and that health? Right now, we don't want that to happen. So I'm asking you today to preserve, this community wants to preserve the characters of their neighborhoods. So I ask you, for the seniors, for the families, for the veterans, for all that live in that neighborhood, please support them today. Give them the quality of life that they deserve. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and our city councilman. I'm just speechless. You know, I just can't believe, you know, when I came back from Vietnam, I heard, ask not what you can do for your country, but ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. You know, when I came back, we had a colored restroom, a colored water fountain, a colored restaurant. Now, I went all the way halfway around the world fighting for somebody else's rights, and I come home and I don't have no rights. Now, here I am, 75 years, 50 years later, still fighting for my rights. Now, you got people here that's over 90 years old. Y'all ought to be trying to figure out a way to give us something instead of us trying to come down here and ask for something. I just can't relate to it. I mean, it's like unreal what's happening now. It just don't make no sense. You know and I know that the businesses, if we had went out there and made Meadowview, Willowwood, and Meadowview North or slum, they wouldn't want to be around us. But what did we do? We went out there. The first time I rode through that neighborhood, 1975, I said, whatever it took to make this neighborhood look like this, I'm going to do my part. I have served as president 6 different times for the neighborhood association. I've been everything from the cleanup captain to the president. What have the business done for us? Somebody said the last meeting we had, y'all can't do the business like this. When I moved out there, it wasn't number cornfields, nice yards, fresh air. Now y'all will let all this industrial come in here, and now you're talking about getting them time, more time to do this. They've been messing with us 50 years. 50 years. And we had to put up with this. And these people, 90 years old, they shouldn't have to go through this. You know, a lady asked me the other day, I was parking in a parking place and I had a Purple Heart, and the lady said, you don't have handicap. And I said, ma'am, I said, I've served my country all my life. You ought to be looking for me a parking space instead of saying where I can't park. And that's the way our city councilmen are. Y'all ought to, if y'all got time to come out in our neighborhoods and campaign, you got time to come out there and see what we going through. And then say to yourself, would I want this in my neighborhood? Would I put up with this in my neighborhood? No, you wouldn't do it. So now, why you can't see where we coming from? We've been down here every time you ask us to. We shouldn't have to come down here. You know, we should have our councilman and everybody else, and I have to admit now, Councilman Rodriguez have been there or had somebody to represent him. But I'm saying if y'all got time to campaign, you ought to have time to come out and look at people's life situations, what they going through, what they have to put up with every day. And that's why we're here today, for you to just say, this shouldn't even have to come to no vote. You know, you should say, this neighborhood have survived. Right now, our neighborhood look like 90% of what it looked like 50 years ago. we take care of our yards, we take care of our community, we take care of our people. We didn't let it turn into a slum. And we are the most predominantly black community in the city of San Antonio that have survived this long. And now we got to come down here and beg. We got to come down here and beg for things that you ought to just be giving us. Y'all ought to be giving us an award for keeping our neighborhood up for the last 50 years and trying to make San Antonio beautiful. Instead of just depriving us of stuff. And for the nerve of somebody, one of the business said, why don't y'all move? Why don't we move? We was here first. You know, it's just like telling the Indians, why don't y'all move? They was here first. I mean, let's be for real with one another. You know, if you mistreat somebody, misuse somebody, and you know you're doing it, and all you city councilmen, the way we have neglected District 2, why y'all can't come together and say, we done spent all this money in these districts, but we haven't done nothing in this district. Let us put something to help that district. Make the whole city look good. Don't just be a city councilman just for your neighborhood or just for your district. Figure out a way that you done got everything you wanted, now help some of these deprived districts and neighborhoods. That's all we asking for. We trying to get along with everybody. The Fiesta Flambeau decided to do the Fiesta during Juneteenth. I've been doing the Juneteenth parade for 25 years. They decided to do Fiesta stuff on Juneteenth. I call them I'm mad, I'm pissed off, I'm upset, but I ain't the type of person to stay pissed off and upset. I tell you how we gonna fix this. We gonna put something in the Fiesta parade, and y'all gonna put something in the Juneteenth parade. They say, oh wow, Mr. Biggs, that's a good idea. Why we can't work together? Why we can't get along with one another? They had 3 floats in the parade this year. We even had a float in the Fiesta parade. So why we can't figure out a way to work with one another and get along with one another and help one another, make San Antonio a greater place to live? Thank you.
Shirley Allen, followed by Ken Brown. Shirley Allen. To Thad Eigelhart? Okay, Thad Eigelhart, please come up then. You have 6 minutes. Thank you. And then Ken Brown will follow.
Thank you for having us here. I would like you to put that up on the monitor as I speak. That illustration that I have them putting up there is just but one of the many illustrations that I have created in this time to welcome businesses to come and attend any meeting that we have. That is one of the very last, and we have put them out personally and invited you personally. Good evening, all. Thank you for hearing our cause. We are an established neighborhood area developed late 1950s, homes built 1960s early, my parents' house, 1962. Houses and farms under the Pletz Covenant, a covenant of land use. Commercial considerations were included, not heavy industrial. We are here to contradict the 50-year classification of heavy industrial for no better reason than leasing and rental with no rules. We've had some bad actors who have rented the properties, business properties near us. We have had human waste, abuse of the drainage system, the storm drainage system, storage of questionable materials, equally. And I am a landlord. I have multiple properties in probably several of the districts here. I have 171 properties. I consider myself a great landlord, but we've had landlords who do not police their properties or instill rules. or even periodically even check on their properties. We ask relief. It is not the job of our elderly or our residents to monitor bad business. Code compliance has tried to the best of their regulations to assist us. We have rang that doorbell many times. However, we have had to go a little further. I'm a retired federal employee. I'm currently involved in trying to put some of my employees back on the clock. I did arbitrations and union fights for a living. We have a big one going on right now. I've come back to my hometown to represent my neighborhoods, and I love this town, and I was raised by multiple neighborhoods in this town. I love people all over this town. This is my town. But I've had to apply a few federal things to some of the issues here, OSHA, EAP, because some people just don't get it. You can't pollute near a neighborhood, and there's supposed to be a buffered area. We've had problems with both encroachment and people who simply sublet to other people who abuse the property. What have we done? We have asked, challenged, searched for both laws and regulations as to such problems. We are here today because we have been to the water board. We have been to city waste. We have been to city planning. I've actually won some agreed orders, and I've written agreed orders for several other districts here, and I was shocked to hear some of the writs I've wrote for other neighborhoods win in city planning. But yes, I write such documentation. Those pamphlets I handed out is some of the material I write. Surely no one has to demand a business correct efforts and their effects on the environment. Prejudice has been an issue as to businesses thinking that they were here first and that they have the right to run the residents off, which I have experienced on many sides of city of San Antonio. Again, I'm also a San Antonio native, and everybody has the right to have a healthy neighborhood. Our opinion is simply change. The east side of San Antonio is so often judged by its looks. For those unfamiliar, please drive by. I have repaired and corrected over 310 houses and still have 171. And I don't believe in an ugly piece of property. It's no such thing if you're a real landlord or businessman. We are working with some of the properties, and we have assisted some of the properties in cleaning up, those businesses willing to talk to us, we have assisted in cleaning up your property. Mr. Vicks, if you could stand up. We have physically also cleaned up several city properties and small portions of city to rid obstructions on roadways. Since we have an elderly neighborhood, no one needs to look around a bush or a building if we can work with a business to correct such small problems. We welcome year-round rodeo. Any business that would hire me from the age of 13, I worked at Coca-Cola, Fort Sam Houston, sold tickets to Conway Twitty at the Coliseum. I know which businesses didn't mind a little black guy asking for a job. We applaud the rodeo wanting to use more of the grounds. We still, and as of my age,
Oh, thank you, sir. You can submit the rest of your comments for the record.
Thank you.
Ken Brown, followed by Mia Maria Pugh.
Good afternoon. Ken Brown had to step out. I'm Mia Marie Pugh.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Mia Marie Pugh. I work for Brown and McDonald Law Firm. We represent 4 property owners who fall within this large area rezoning, and notably the San Antonio Rodeo, the Artisan at Willow Springs, and 2 different industrial users. And we want to express our support for this large area rezoning. We want to thank Councilman Mickey Rodriguez and all of the residents for sharing their stories, listening to our concerns, and coming up with a zoning district that addresses everyone. So thank you all so much for your time, and again, we are in support.
Thank you.
John Whitsett, followed by James McKnight. John Whitsett. Okay. James McKnight, followed by Dayton Sims.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. James McKnight with Ortiz McKnight on behalf of 639 Gembler. You know, I had actually come here to see if there was a way to continue just so we could keep talking to the residents about our use. But really, I'm just going to talk about supporting what the Zoning Commission and Planning Commission had recommended for that property. It's they had recommended an L with specific use for manufactured homes, oversized vehicles, sales, service, and storage. And it's just because of the unique nature of the property. It's primarily floodplain, and if it is zoned to C2 base zoning, there's essentially nothing else you can do with the property. So we were asking for L simply so we could look for the future uses. So really had nothing to do with what we were doing currently. It just had to do with, if the point of this was to see what was going to happen for the future uses, what was most appropriate would be for that to be L. So that's our request today. Thank you.
Dayton Sims, followed by the final speaker, Joe Malone.
Thank you. I'm here representing a group of commercial property owners that are opposed to the rezoning. I might say that we understand the I-2 is an extremely broad commercial zoning, and we would be anxious to meet with the appropriate staff or homeowners to see if there wasn't some lesser zoning that could be more acceptable to our particular group of protesters. So that would be one request for today, is that we have a postponement of the decision to give time for that possible conversation to take place. We're probably most opposed to the process that has occurred because many of our group and other property owners that we've contacted feel that they really didn't get proper time or notice to present their position. So that's one of the reasons we'd like to see if the council couldn't postpone this decision till the next council meeting. Anyway, that's our current request. There have been some factual or statements made that we tend to disagree with it. We feel our group of all the commercial users in the area are responsible and would work with the homeowners if they had some specific objections. But it's a basic property rights issue. When you do a down zoning, you've affected the future value of our properties. We will have conditional use permission to use the property as it's currently being used, but you've definitely affected the value of those properties. We feel like we've been substantially harmed by that without meeting necessarily all the needs of the homeowners. They basically have requested a down zoning to what I would refer to as almost a quasi-residential zoning, and we strongly object to that. Thank you.
Joe Malone is the final speaker.
Mayor, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and the City Council. I think simply applied, the golden rule would work in this situation. We are making our own golden rule. We are doing unto others as before they can do it to us. and that's the way our situation is going out in the area. What I think we need to do is, all we want are basic considerations for clean air and clean water and better living conditions. That's all. We can talk about commercial entities, we can talk about anything you'd like to talk about, but we still want those three things. And that's the only thing that we're requesting. So I ask that you favorably consider our request. Thank you.
Items 7 and 8 are in District 2. Councilman McKee Rodriguez is recognized to speak.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Today's large area rezoning is a culmination of many, many, many hours of work by city staff, my team, and the UHI Neighborhood Association, and surrounding business owners and organizations. I filed the CCR on October 3rd of 2024. It was moved forward by governance on January 15th of this year, and on February 27th, the process was approved and started, and every single property owner in this boundary was notified and invited to participate. Today, I join my constituents and the overwhelming number of speakers that you heard today in calling for approval of this item. And I want to thank Forrest and Ashley with DSD for their diligence in this case, and I especially want to thank the United Homeowners Improvement Association and their task force for advocating for their neighborhood and community, initiating this idea and sticking along with us through the bureaucracy and the compromise, every single compromise, and everything in between. So please give yourselves a round of applause. As many of you have heard today, this is an issue of human rights, and we just heard about the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would yourself. And would we accept any of this for our constituents, for our neighborhoods? What would we do if our residents came to us with this concern? The UHIA neighborhood, in this instance, is comprised of 3 historically and very storied black neighborhoods where many residents have called home for decades before any of these businesses existed and before any of them got the zoning that they have today. They remember when the area was mostly field and ranch land and have lived through the industrialization of their community, the impacts of Union Pacific Railroad tracks and every train that comes through and stops in their neighborhood, and the failed promises of economic development surrounding the Frost Bank Center, which was at one point the AT&T Center and was at one point SBC, which is in their neighborhood. No grocery stores, no medical care, very little green space, almost no affordable activities for families, but an abundance of dirt and dust in the air, an abundance of potholes and damaged roads caused by heavy industrial traffic, and an abundance of, again, traffic caused by the trains. I would like everyone, please, if you would entertain me, I would like everyone, please close your eyes for a second while I walk you through an exercise, if you may. You are sitting in your front yard in the home your family has lived in for decades. You're in a rocking chair. You feel the concrete floor of your porch on your feet. You hear the sound of wind chimes. And in this story, it was a gift from your mother-in-law. So you hear the wind chimes that were a gift from your mother-in-law. You hear birds chirping. It's a very beautiful, peaceful sound. The sun rises in the east, and you're there to watch it shine. You feel the warmth on your skin. Now imagine all that you can smell is human excrement. All you smell is literal shit filling the air in your neighborhood. You walk to your mailbox and you feel a layer of dust in the air clinging onto your skin. That is what you are breathing in. The only sensation you experience when you're going to check your mail is the smell of human excrement and the feeling of dust. It is the only thing you feel in any way because it is such a strong stench and such an imposition that it becomes the character of the world and the neighborhood that you live in. It places literal meaning to your neighborhood being the dumping ground of the city. Thank you for joining me in that. It's nasty, ain't it? It's nasty. This large area rezoning was introduced after a porta-potty cleaning and storage company caused distress throughout the neighborhood. I think we can all agree that living directly across the street from a business where human excrement is being sloshed around on trucks driving through the neighborhood and where these portable toilets are being stored is not welcome or ideal for anyone. Again, none of us would want that in our neighborhood. We wouldn't want that for any community that we represent, let alone families and retired people trying to enjoy the homes that they worked so hard for. Today, we are correcting a decades-long zoning mistake. The Eastside has often expressed that we are the literal dumping ground for the city, and it was part of my goal as a representative for my community to ensure that everyone has access to safe, clean, and accessible spaces, and that we provide justice for those who have been historically wronged. Today represents a very strong compromise between neighborhoods and businesses. Nobody got everything that they wanted, and I'm grateful for those who are willing to have these discussions in good faith. And I also want to be realistic. If and when this passes today, the result will not be immediate. I want to ground us in the reality that largely we will hopefully be preventing uses that are going to be harmful for our community years and years from now, but we're still going to need to work with the businesses that exist today to adjust some of their practices, and you have me here with you in that fight. I also want to reiterate quickly, 111 notices were returned in favor with 12 opposed. When was the last time that you saw 111 notices in favor of anything zoning related for the city returned back to us? It is not common, and so I want you to note that. That is something very significant about this case, and when you cast your vote today, I want you to remember that. You've also heard a number of amendments proposed by the Zoning Commission, by many business owners, and accepted graciously by the neighborhood, and I'm going to have to read a few of them again if I can find that paper somewhere. So all of that being said, I move to approve Planning and Zoning's recommendation with the following amendments. Revise proposed zoning for 1114 Paulson and 1155 Brussels to LS Light Industrial with specific use authorization for a construction contractor facility. Remove 111 Gambler from the plan amendment, leaving it as light industrial, and revise the proposed zoning to LS Light Industrial District with specific use authorization for a freight depot. 639 Gamble Road to align with staff's recommendation for C2 CD Commercial District with conditional use for manufactured home, oversized vehicle sales, service or storage, and community commercial land use designation. And 3442 Belgium Lane and 139 Gambler Road to align with staff's revised recommendation of LS Light Industrial with specific use authorization for a freight depot.
There's a motion and a second to approve items 7 and 8 as amended. Please vote. The motion passes. We'll now move on to item 13. Staff, please proceed.
Thank you. Agenda item 13 is a zoning case, zoning from RM4 to RM4 with conditional use for tobacco store/retail located at 4031 South Flores Street. Staff and Zoning Commission recommend approval with the following condition. No temporary signs, wind waivers, pennants, bandit, or snipe signs. Staff mailed 23 notices, 0 were returned in favor, 0 opposed, and there was no response from the St. Leo's Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
We have one person signed up to speak on this item. Jack Finger, you have 3 minutes.
Mayor Jones, other members of our San Antonio City Council, once again, my name is Jack M. Finger. This item number 10, falls in Ms. Villagran's district, and consequent.
This is item number
13. My mistake. Thank you for correcting me. 13, yes. Yes, okay, item number 13. District 3 is Villagran's district. It's about establishing a tobacco store, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tobacco store, Ms. Villagran, where they sell cigars, cigarettes, Tipperillos, to quote an old advertisement. Do they also sell vape? Well, they sell vaping products there as well. I think you should say no to this one, Ms. Villagran. We all know the effects of smoking on the public health. Yes, they are legal, but that doesn't mean we have to support them. So I would encourage you to say no to this one. Thank you.
Item 13 is in District 3. Councilwoman Villagran is recognized to speak.
Thank you. Met with the applicant. We were able to sit down and discuss long-term, short-term plans for the property moving forward. With that being said, I make the following motion. Motion to approve with the conditions as read.
There's a motion and a second to approve as amended. Please vote. Okay. The motion carries. Staff, let's move on to item number 18.
Item number 18 is a rezoning from C3 and C2 to C2S with specific use authorization for a car wash located at 3602 Culebra Road. Staff and Zoning Commission recommend approval with the following conditions. Vehicular ingress-egress limited only to be on Culebra Road and Holy Cross Drive. An 8-foot solid fence along the southern property line closest to residential single-family uses. Hours of operation to be limited to those being Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and no external sound systems or live music permitted. Staff mailed 27 notices, 0 were returned in favor and 0 in opposition. The Culebra Park Neighborhood Association is neutral to the request, and we received no response from the University Park Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Okay. We have one individual signed up to speak on this item, Brandon Dennison. Sir, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Brandon Dennison. I represent Quick Quack Car Wash, the future operator of this car wash. We're excited about the possibility of another location in the beautiful city of San Antonio. We're confident that the aforementioned conditions of approval will create a positive environment for the neighborhood and will be a great pillar of the community. Quick Quack is an excellent operator. They have excellent services, excellent staff, and will always keep their sites clean and free of debris. And so just want to thank everyone for the consideration, and I hope that you will approve this rezone. Thank you.
Item 18 is in District 5. Councilwoman Castillo is recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the applicant, staff, and Colton on my team for working to secure conditions with this, which include limiting vehicle access on the commercial sides to not disrupt the residential parcels, as well as a masonry wall up to 8 feet, as well as hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., as well as additional conditions as well. So with that, I motion to approve with conditions.
Second.
Is there any other council discussion on this? Okay. There is a motion and a second to approve as amended. Please vote. Okay, the motion carries. The final item is item 21. Please, staff, please proceed.
Certainly. Agenda item 21 is a zoning case rezoning from R6 to PUD MF18 with a reduced perimeter setback of 10 feet located at 14840 Topperwine Road. Staff and Zoning Commission recommend approval. The applicant has submitted an amended site plan for your review, which is now on the screen. Staff mailed 80 notices, 0 were returned in favor, 9 returned in opposition, and there is no registered neighborhood association within 200 feet. Outside of the 200-foot notification boundary, 0 were returned in favor and 12 in opposition. Thank you. There is a homeowners association, but they are not a registered neighborhood association with the city.
Item 21 is in District 10. Councilman White is not here, but Councilwoman Spears will speak on his behalf.
Thank you, Mayor. A motion to approve item number 21 with the amended site plan.
Councilmember, my apologies. We have one speaker on this item. Jack Finger, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 21 is about changing the zoning from, excuse me, from a residential to multifamily, an apartment complex. I'm sorry Mr. White is not here, but one thing that, well, there are a number of things about I saw in the backup documents that you might be interested in. The fact that there are 80 notices sent out, and about almost 10% of them, 1 out of 10, said, no, we do not want this. Why would all the surrounding people in the surrounding 200 feet say, no, we don't want this? Well, I guess they don't like the extra intensity that an apartment complex brings. But also, I notice there's another tiny little item in this case that brought to my attention. It says, with a reduced perimeter setback. A reduced perimeter setback, meaning it can sit closer to a street than what is supposed to be sat next to. Yeah, I guess people just don't like the idea that their residence is becoming more encroached upon. So yes, at the zoning commission, at least 2 people spoke out against this thing. I think just maybe, Ms. Spears, I guess if you're carrying the water for Mr. White, would you please say no to this one? Because, like I say, these are the people who do have to live next to this specter of, well, I don't know if you would call it commercial encroachment, but it's certainly a more intense scenario than you would have if you were a resident living next to that area there. Thank you.
Item number 20.